Well, good morning, everyone. 13th of December. Very chilly here in Les Sables d'Olonne, about minus 1.5, and a bit of ice everywhere. It was snowing last night here in Les Sables d'Olonne at the Vendée Marina. So it's all a bit funny with the weather. But anyway, it's quite crisp and might be a blue sky day today, so that's good. So Leaderboard, let's just see what's happening here with their mileage. Simon, 158 miles a day. Kirsten, 111, so Simon's cleared out from there. Abelish, 161, that's pretty cool. 100 for Goog, 108 rather, and 105 for Jeremy. 51 for Ian Herbert Jones, and 71 for Elliot. And Guy Waite's 42, he's lucking out. Arnaud's actually arrived at St Helena, so his declaration was once he got there he would retire from the race, but he's decided not to stop and keep going, so we'll look at that later, but absolutely not part of the adventure at the moment for GGR, but he's still underway, so interesting stuff. If we then come back and have a look here at Guy, we'll just start picking up here and look at ETAs. I know there's a few people watching this, and it's all still a bit tricky. Strange sort of little weather here. You've got the northeasterly down here coming up the southerly, and then there's a system here, a low pressure system that's formed, and now it's coming down with a northerly for Guy, so at least he'll be able to get moving, but he's not moving that fast, so we'll have to wait and see. It looks like he might still be in bad visibility and he's actually closing the coast a bit just to get to see it, so he's probably about 15 miles or so off the coast. I'm hoping you've seen it at the moment, but that's pretty low there. These are the mountains back here, and maybe it's clouded out. Cape Town's down this way, and it just makes me think he might not be totally onto his landfall at the moment, although he may be. It was very light. He may be just sailing across the wind to keep speed up. He's only doing 3.6 knots at the moment, and I'll come up one more size and see what the distance is. See where he is there. So 33 miles, he's making 3 knots, 3.6. He can motor at any time, and I'm wondering whether he realises that. 30 miles out, that's only 6 hours, 6 hours if he's kicking along. So I would think that sometime late today, maybe he should arrive in Cape Town. It's on hourly tracking, so we'll keep an eye on it. But for those that are watching, he has the potential to arrive sometime late this afternoon. It's 10 o'clock down there. No, we're 9 o'clock here, so I think it's 10 o'clock down there. 7, 8, 9 hours left. Sometime late today, we could see him. Having said that, I know if we look at the weather now in this area, this is by this afternoon, no wind. Hang on, I'll come back to, that's 3 o'clock. So this is 2 o'clock. You can see the wind's actually dying very quickly from now. So around midday it's dropping off and it's behind him, so that's slow. So hopefully he'll start motoring, because he can top up with fuel when he gets there. He'll be in Chichester class, that's not a problem, and it'll be a bit quicker for him. But let's wait and see what happens. Anyway, all is well with Guy. We spoke to him yesterday. You might have heard the SoundCloud. He's obviously not happy with the situation, but just wants to get this done and get underway again as quick as he can. But he reserves his final decisions for when he's there. When you hit the shore, your whole attitude can change. And he mentioned previously he didn't want to get into emailing and Facebook and all that sort of stuff, because it'll take him out of the zone, psychologically. But let's just wait and see. It's going to be very challenging for him. He'll be mid-December. He'll have 6 weeks to get to the gate or be out of the race, which is really quite. He'll have to make 1,000 miles a week. Still possible, but let's wait and see what he decides to do. Okay, back to today's weather, and we're back here with Elliot right alongside Suhaili, 6.2 knots. He's be very happy with that. And Ian Herbert Jones, 6.4 knots. So they've been moving along on the back of this system here, and that's pretty cool. And then Jeremy currently 6.4 knots as well, and Captain Goog doing 3.3, running right along the edge of the zone. He had the chance there to move up. If we look at that, we're talking about this, he had a chance to get clear of this zone, but he's still sitting on it. which is kind of interesting. And because it's going to, anyway, it's following breezes. He should be right now. When this comes over him, he'll be able to carry along. So, but yeah, they are people maintaining close proximity to the zone here. So I think we might be able to advance the weather and look at Jeremy and Ian and so on. We did send Jeremy a wind warning. We probably didn't need to because it's still under 30 knots, but there's some big gusts in here. I had a look on Windy, and it could be gusting up as much as 50. But the forecast is only about 30 knots at the moment. So yeah, he's having a good ride and so on. So anyway, we'll just advance this forward and see what it looks like hour by hour. You can see it's moving away for Elliot, but he should just hang on to the breeze. Jeremy, it's swinging from the west northwest down to a westerly, and then reasonably sedately moves around to the southwest and starts to pick up. Okay, so this is where he's going to get the big gusts, and we've told him about that. That's late tonight. It's forecasting 30 to 35, but it's showing on windy gusts 45, 50. So he's well aware that's coming, and he'll snug down. And then interestingly, now he'll have another 2 or 3 days of just strong Southern Ocean weather. Really strong winds, 30s, 35s. Gusting a little bit higher, big seas. The seas will build to 5 or 6 metres because it's over such a long period of time. If we go on here and look at the seas down here at the moment, Ian's getting a bit of a ride as well, of course. He's got this breeze come over, and Elliot will still hold the breeze as well, so he's just going to miss that. So that's good. They'll be sailing quite well. And you can see here, this is a good 5, it's gone through 5s into 6s, so 5 to 6 metre seas. Maybe even, occasionally it'll be 7 and a bit more. So Jeremy's going to have some, when you're in weather like that, it's not hard work, it's not technically hard, but it just can be grueling. But at the same time, once you've set the boat up, and I would think in some of this you'll be down to just a small staysail running with it. There's not much you can do. You just got to sit tight and hope everything keeps working right. So, but it gets tiring after a while. So we'll wait and hear what he's got to say with his tweets and so on. Yes, seas are building. Same with Good. This will slowly catch up to him and come through. You can see a big step there from sort of 4 coming into 5s and stuff. A bit confusing there as well. So yeah, they're going to have an interesting ride in the next few days because it will hold through. It'll hold through. We sent Google just a weather forecast too, just to make sure he's aware that this is happening. And there'll be some big gusts for them in here. But as I say, the forecast is still only 30, 35s. In fact, I can show you that. If we, where are we? This is the one coming through here. And they're up around here at the moment. You can see it's all 28, 29, 28, 23, 35s there. This is where it gets a little bit more, but the gusts are way up on that. Yeah, we're watching it. And okay, back again here. So that's by tomorrow morning. Hang on, I got to start this up again now. Well, there, I might drop this back a bit so we can see a bit of the system going through. Nope, still not going. There we go. Boom. Okay, so this is now on the 14th, midday on the 14th, so you can see it's pretty quick. Goog's got a good following breeze there, no excuse for him to go south, so that's easy. He'll like that. And Jeremy also, it's all big following breezes. Ablish and Kirsten have got the same. They've got, it's in 30s, maybe a little bit more, and then gusting to 40s and stuff, backing off, and then the majority of it's going down. But you can see here, we're up to the 15th. There's a bit of a respite there for, maybe half a day, and then it picks up again. So they've got real southern, just typical Southern Ocean conditions. Even for Ian Herbert Jones, he'll be along this area. And Elliot, they're going to get following breezes, seas will build, 5 metres and so on. And Ian might check on the tail end of that. That's for morning of the 16th, so it's 3 days away. It's still too far away to give a real forecast, but they're going to be making good speeds. That's the other plus. Okay, so they'll be in all of this. This is going through to the 16 into the 17 now. By then, Goog will be over the edge, but Jeremy may still be in this lot as well, coming down. So that's into the 17th and so on. So not huge dangerous storms or anything like that, but certainly some heavy weather for those guys. Now let's look at the leaders and Simon and the query on the ETAs and so on. Currently let's look at the weather first. Simon's been making, I'll just pick this up a bit more. So Simon's been making 6.5 knots, so 158 miles in the last 24 hours. And Kirsten's only done 121 miles, but she's making 7.5 knots, so that's good. And they're just missing this high. And Abelish, 7.4 knots, he's flying. So that's kind of cool. Now that we've done that, it's a bit too big to see what's going to progress with the weather. So I'm now going to toggle this through every hour so you can watch Simon, Kirsten and Abelish. They've all got breeze, so they're all going to be making it. And will that no wind zone come over Simon or not? This is by this evening, by midnight tonight. Abelish and Kirsten still sailing fast. Simon might start to slow up about now. So there's 4 o'clock in the morning. He'll be going slow, but the other two are still sailing. And then Simon's not going anywhere fast here. This is from 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, 4 o'clock the next. That's 24 hours he's been in a hole. So, and that's 24 hours that Kirsten and Abelish have been sailing fast. So there's 1 day potentially. Let's just keep going. And Simon's still in no wind. Kirsten might get this little hole here. May come over Kirsten about there. But Simon still, look, this is the worst case scenario for Simon, is that he's at the back end of it now. He's going to get the breeze come in, but this is still blocking in front. So this is on the 15th, 13th, 14th, 15th. Yeah, he could still be interacting. It depends how far he gets drifting. It could be down in here somewhere. So, and potentially Kirsten may have slowed up a bit, but Abelish will still be sailing fast. So Abelish will catch up a little bit to Kirsten, but Kirsten's going to take some big ground off Simon, I reckon. Just depends if this forecast is right and so on. So let's say I reckon there's at least a good day or day and a bit there. So that's potentially, I reckon, 150 miles that Kirsten and Abelish could catch up to Simon. Now, I like Simon and it'd be great. He's doing really well, but wouldn't that be great if the other guys catch up? We want a boat race. Ooh. So that'll be interesting to watch, but it's definitely going to impede progress. Now we're into the end of the 16th, so 13th, 14th, 15th. It's 3 days ahead. So let's just see if he makes 300 miles, where he'll be. It's 350. Yeah, no, it's really in his track. At best, he's going to be up around here somewhere, and it'll still be interacting if this forecast is correct. So, what's my take on the ETA then? Looking at that, okay, my take now is about there 800 miles. There's still going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 5. It could be 6 days yet, 6 days and a bit, and then the local one. So that's 19, 20. I'm still saying about the 20th because he's 20th, maybe even a bit more. Depends on what happens locally around Tassie. So I'm still thinking the 20th. Anyway, all very interesting. And I don't think Kirsten's made any ground on... no, she's lost ground in the last few days. She's back to 750, I say. Something like that. And Abelish is... if we come down... Abelish is probably about... he's picked up ground. He's 300 miles, about 300 miles behind Kirsten. So all interesting stuff, fun to watch, and